my self-esteem wasn't that good. I said, if I stop posting these scriptures, then the hoodlums and the DMs are gonna scramble. They're gonna run away. And there was a time where, I was really thriving off of the hoodlums and the DMs. I got to. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to Pruning 101. My name is Darvini, and my light just died. Yeah, this can we try and plug this in? Hello. Yeah. Hi. So, welcome to Pruning 101. My name is Darvini, and I am your host. So, this is maybe, I think, my 6th time now trying to start this video. Every time I try to start it, something just doesn't work out. First my mic broke, then my lights died. It's just been a mess. But anyways, for moral support today, we have my brother off camera. Say hello, brother.
Hello.
So, that's him. Brother, what is your name?
Wilson. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So although this is my first video, it's my first video, but it's not my first episode. I guess I should call this season 2, episode 1, for accuracy, I suppose. But yeah, this is my background. I painted all these paintings myself. But yeah, I guess let's get into the first topic. Okay, so if you've been following me up to this point, I've been putting out a couple of episodes and whatnot for my podcast, releasing content, this, that, and the third, and it's been great. But I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. And the other day I was talking to a friend about it, and she told me, she said, if you are just giving people lessons about moral integrity and this, that, and the third, then, and not giving them the story or the reason or the why or the how you got there, then not only is that selling yourself short, but you're also not walking fully in your purpose. So, although I've been kind of scared, I figured, if I just wait till I'm not scared, then I'm never going to do it. So here I am recording this video. Okay, so now for today's topic is, why is loving Jesus so hard? How did I get here? What's it like in real life? Yeah. So I guess I should start with, okay, let's see. How did I come to Christ? How did I even get here? So, okay, when I was younger, I went to church. We were kind of church hopping from denomination to denomination. The denomination didn't really matter. Our parents just kind of said, okay, as long as they're preaching the gospel, then that's good enough. Which, that's not where we're at anymore, but that's where we started. So I'd say I always knew of the Lord, but never really had a personal relationship with him. Up until recently, and I guess I kind of had like an existential crisis where I just had a lot of questions, wanting to understand things. And I just really wanted to know the truth about just life. Like I said, existential crisis. So at the time I had church hurt. It was COVID. It was COVID time when quarantine had just began. And I had church hurt. So I guess quarantine kind of helped in a way because I didn't want to go to church, but also I couldn't go to church even if I wanted to. So I was searching for the Lord, but also didn't really have much guidance, which made going about the journey that much more difficult. And okay, eventually, you know, I had these family friends. Shout out to Bree and JJ if you're watching this video. Hi, love y'all. So they were the ones that basically discipled or mentored me. So I had a lot of questions and I was searching for understanding, but rather than giving me the answers to my problems or the solutions to the questions and whatnot, what they would do, they would give me direction, say, oh, here's this resource, here's this scripture, here's this verse, read it, tell me what you think about it, let's talk about it. So there was a constant dialogue for an extended amount of time. And the focus was less of trying to prove what I believe to be right, but more so coming to understand the character of Christ, therefore coming to understand the character of me and my place in the world and whatever. Okay, so that's like the Cliff Notes version of the coming to Christ story. Now let's get to the transition. So transitioning from being worldly to come to the Lord was extremely difficult. Because yes, God calls us to die to ourselves. And yes, although it sounds dramatic, I think that's a very accurate way of putting it, because it's like, these are my desires. This is what I think. This is what I want. And this is the way that I am. This is the way, like, and it's literally like all of that. Like, it's not necessarily that you go and throw those things away because, oh, I'm trying to be this godly woman, holier than thou. But literally, like your desires change because of that. Stop. Y'all, he's out here taking pictures of me. But literally your desires change. Your desires change because of how God is like changing in you. And it's like weird, you know? So I guess the first thing that I put down is sacrifice. So that's the first bullet point that I put down for what makes loving Jesus so hard. The other day, I literally wrote in my journal. This is my handy dandy journal, y'all. It's so cute. I wrote this the other day. I said, this is part of my prayer. I wrote, loving you is so hard. Living in the world that I live in. Loving you is costing me so much. Friends, pride, companionship. And it's so hard to remember that though there's a significant cost, that there will be a significant gain tenfold, because I don't see the reward of loving you right now. Right now, all I am experiencing is sorrow, but I do love you. I love you because of how well you take care of me and how you protect me. I'm trying my best to love you the way you love me, but I am human and you know my heart. It just seems like I'm not doing what you want me to do right now. I aim for the mark, but I miss it. Change my heart so that I can finally hit it. Take all that I am, everything that I have, so I can live a life that pleases you. Skip. And then later on in that prayer, I go on and talk about how I think life is very ghetto and how I'm struggling real bad. So, yeah, sacrifice. Sacrificing the things that you like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember something that I used to always tell my friends. I used to be like, oh, like, I love the Lord, but I'm going to still shake my butt. And I thought it was so cute. I thought it was so cute. But like, I said that and I genuinely meant it. Like, there was just some things like I just wasn't wanting to let go of, you know? Yeah. So sacrifice. I hear a lot, people be like, okay, like, oh, what made you come to Christ? And a lot of people will say like, oh, like, he just changed my whole life. And people are like, oh my gosh, like, everybody always says that. But because it's true, there's literally no other way to describe it, but literally, like, your whole life changes like this. Like, people are gonna, you know, put a lot of their faith into, okay, crystals, changing your circumstances. Like, if y'all want some life-changing action, try the Lord. Okay? So, yeah. So what did come to Jesus do, at least for changing my life? So I started getting convictions, things that I was listening to, like as far as music, things that I was reading, and I guess the attack for me, or not, I guess attack might not be the right word, but the focus for me was on keeping my mind and my heart pure, keeping my actions pure. But like before you get to the action, before you get to the actual sinning part, it all starts in your mind. So, okay, then I started becoming more mindful of what I was consuming, like the media, what's on my social media, who am I following, who's showing up on my feed. Okay, the music that I listen to, the books, the movies, the TV shows, all that stuff. Like, and it wasn't even like, and it's not even like a holier than thou. It's like, okay, these are things that I genuinely was enjoying, but like as I get closer to the Lord, like I just enjoy them less and less and less, and I start desiring different things. So that's what it means, like when you hear people say like, oh, that God changed my heart, like it's that, like literally, like that your desires for the things that appeal to you, the things like your definition of good changes. Like people say, oh, this song is so good. Is it really? This movie's so good. Is it really? Like, how do you define good? And without Jesus as your moral compass, that the definition of good drastically changes, because then it's all just subjective. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole other conversation. Third is death to self. People think, yes, that's a dramatic title, and people think that death to self is something, it's just like a one-time thing, you know? Like here's what I thought. I thought I was gonna get baptized, because I was baptized as a baby and I got rebaptized when I came to like choose Christ for myself. That's a whole other story. But I thought that I was gonna get baptized and that all my problems would go away because I had accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. That is not what that means. That is not what that means. I got baptized and I had this expectation that things were going to change for me drastically, because I wanted a drastic change. There was just so many things that I was lacking in my life, so many areas of brokenness. And I said, okay, inviting Jesus into my life is going to fill those gaps, which it did, but it didn't necessarily make the struggle any easier. So dying to yourself every day, like what that looks like is, okay, before you speak, you know, like my brother was off camera. You saw I was looking at him a certain type of way, but I didn't get crazy on him. You know what I'm saying? Like a certain time, once upon a time, I would have been like, like, in the Bible, it does say, there's verses where it says like, okay, I don't remember it, but it's like, be slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen, something like that. I know y'all know the verse, but that is scripture. And that's literally what happens. That's what it means. Part of what it means to die to self, meaning that like the way that you would normally respond, the way that you would normally behave, like it's not that it's completely like absolved and gone away, but that you just, it's more of like a disciplined way of living your life. Like every day I make the choice. Every day I make the choices. And the Bible also says we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but like principalities and unseen powers, which is true. That's a whole other layer too. Okay, so there's that. The last one is getting humbled. I recently got humbled really bad. So I just recently did a 3-day fast because I was going through a time where, a lot of people will look at me and they'll assume that, I'm super confident and I don't have insecurities, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, insecurities I have. I have those still. And it may not be in the way that most people would think. I guess I'll just like preface it basically what's going on. So what was going on, like, how sometimes girls on social media, you post a certain type of way, hoping for a certain type of reaction. Hoping for a certain type of reaction from somebody. Like, like, oh, if I post this, like, he's gonna slide up. And like, usually you're not wrong. Like, oh, if I do this, like this person's gonna give me, and that what that does, it's like it's getting validation, getting attention that normally otherwise you probably wouldn't be getting for whatever reason. And once upon a time I used to do that, and then God convicted me and I stopped. But then I started doing it, but it just looked different. And it was easier to hide because I was just putting Jesus in front of it. So what I was doing was, okay, like you can do the same thing, right? Like, oh, like, look at me, look at what I'm doing. Like, oh, I'm this like great girl, this woman of God, da 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 da. And it's like, okay, I know so and so is gonna see. Like, it's the intention. That's what was getting me. And what happened to me the other day was I was about to post something on my story, and then, before I posted it, I started getting this weird feeling in my chest, but I ignored it and I posted it anyways. And like 2 minutes afterwards, I was like, I started getting this nagging feeling, like, Darvini, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Like, Darvini, like, check your heart. And then I did, and I took it down, and I started crying. And I started crying because I was like, at first I didn't understand why, but what it really was, what was really, I guess, calling me out in that moment, it was God humbling me. He was like, now look at you. Look at you. Like, you think that you still don't have healing to do. You think that everything is all peachy keen, but you still need me. Like, as long as you've been walking with me, like, okay, you can journal, you can go on these nature walks, you can go to church, you can be in your work, you can do all these things, but as long as you avoid me from confronting me with this issue, as long as you don't come to me with this issue, it's never gonna get solved. And so that was basically God just calling me out. But yeah, God called me out and he humbled me real bad, and said, like, yeah, as far as you've come, yes, it's true, like, but you still need me. So yeah, these are all the things. Those are the 4 things, or the 4 reasons as to why loving Jesus is so hard. But just because it's hard doesn't mean that, like, it's not worth your time, or that he's not worth loving, or getting to learn how isn't worth doing. Something that I prayed the other day was, I had prayed, God, I love you and thank you for loving me, but right now your love for me isn't enough, but I want it to be. And so that's the first step to, like, healing. Just being honest with yourself. And, like, I don't know why we think that we can play God, because he literally knows everything. Like, when God in the Garden of Eden said to Adam and Eve, like, Adam, Eve, where are you? He didn't say that because he didn't know where they was. Of course he knew where they were, but he said that because that's basically him giving us the opportunity to come clean, come open to him, so that way we can find healing, find closure, find the things that we need to find, that otherwise we wouldn't be able to give ourselves. And like, that's where I was playing myself. I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm on my self-healing, my growth journey bag and this, that, and the third. And when I was praying, I was always asking God, like, God, what do I do? What do you want me to do? What do I do? What do you want me to do? And he said to me that, like, you need to be still. That there's nothing that you can do right now. There's nothing that you can do for me right now. What I need you to do for me is to be still so I can work on you. Because right now you're doing too much. And it's like all this busyness that I'm doing, trying to heal myself, is like also taking away space from God that he could be using to like work on me. So it just, although it felt good, although, yeah, doing the healthy things felt good, that isn't what God was calling me to do right then in that moment. And like, I had just been like in such desperation because I had felt like, okay, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, but I still got this problem and yeah. I just thought of one more thing that I wanted to add. Something else that makes loving Jesus so hard these days is culture. So a lot of people will look at me and they'll make assumptions about the type of person that I am. But when I turn out not to be how they think I am, it creates this like weird environment where people assume that I perceive them a certain way, and so they start treating me a certain way. It's so weird. And it's like, you know, like, I'll make certain decisions for my life in effort in trying to be obedient, but like, I'll literally get the craziest comments from strangers and even people that I had considered friends. But none of this is new. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah. And the Bible does talk about like that you will be persecuted, that you will face trials and tribulations, but like basically not to let that deter you from seeking God first. Because you know he's gonna be with you the whole time. He's gonna get you through it. And like, I think a lot of us just be giving up on God way too fast because it's like, okay, well, my life is chips right now. Nothing is going the way that I planned it. But I think for us, our job would just be to remain faithful during the times where we feel like God isn't there. And when you feel like God isn't there, then you have to pray, Lord, please help me during the times where I forget your presence. Help me, remind me that you are still with me. Help me to stay faithful, and even in the times where I am in the season of doubt. So yeah, shout out to the girlies that love Jesus but don't have the courage or the boldness to start living that type of life. I remember there was a time where I literally, like, you would not catch me posting no Bible, nothing, like, and I like these things on my feed, but I was afraid of even liking them or even reposting them because I was afraid of how people would perceive me. Like, I didn't want people to see me as a, oh, holier than thou, high and mighty type of girl. And I also, because my self-esteem wasn't that good, I said, you know, if I start posting these scriptures, then the hoodlums and the DMs are gonna scramble. They're gonna run away. And there was a time where, you know, I was really thriving off of the hoodlums and the DMs. But okay, don't look at me like that. Not like that. Like, because, like, you know, they'll slide up with the heart eyes and the emojis and stuff. Be like, oh, girl, you look so good. And I was like,
say,
not like that. Not like that. Yeah, not like that. Thank God for redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a time where that is what my life looked like, and that's really how I was thriving because I was insecure. But yeah, thank God for mercy. Thank God for redemption. He takes us out of those spaces, gives me the courage to be able to stand on my own without trying to live off of people feeding me validation and affirmation. Because it's Christ that affirms me now. So yeah, shout out to y'all that are still struggling. There's hope. And if you're scared, do it scared. If you wait till you're not scared, then you're just never gonna get nowhere. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's it. Bye. That's it for this video. If you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. If you're listening, you can DM me at Pruning101 or on my personal account at Darvini Charles. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next Sunday. Thank you. Bye, guys. Don't look at me like that. Are you ready? I mostly asked that question more so for myself, not really for you.
I can tell.
Okay. All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to Pruning 101. Stop. Don't look at me.
I'm not doing anything. Go ahead. Go ahead. You good?
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
Come it on!
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.